This is Sports Drive.
Welcome back into Sports Drive, everybody. Joining us now from 102.9, the Sports Star, the host of the 60-Minute Drill, Alan Roberson. Alan, thanks so much for taking the time and coming on the show on the holiday weekend.
Absolutely, KJ. Well, again, first and foremost, thank you so much for having me. It was kicking my feet up, cleaning stuff around the house, different things of that nature, but I still need to get that sports itch out the way, you know what I mean? Those not hearing last week, myself and Lance Launder with the Drive at 5 are off today, of course, in observance of the holiday, so we'll be back in full force coming into tomorrow. Lots of things to get into from this past weekend, and a good couple of those things we're getting ready to talk about right now. So again, thank you so much for having me today.
Well, Alan, we are winding down towards the summer season, the summer months here in the Texas Panhandle for sports. A lot of the college sports, the high school sports we have reaching the end here over the course of the last week. And, of course, as mentioned off the top, Canyon Eagles, the only high school team remaining in the postseason. But that means that a lot of attention is going to turn towards the Sod Poodles, who have been struggling a little bit this season. But as of late, they've won 7 of their last 9. They just took 5 of the last 6 in their series against Northwest Arkansas. So, Alan, I want to just ask you, how are you feeling? What's your temperature on the Sod Poodles right now? Because this is starting, and I don't want to go too far with it, but it's starting to feel a little reminiscent of last year. You remember this time last year, they were struggling out of the gates, and then towards the end of the first half, they made a big push. It was like, hold on a second, can they actually take the first half standings? They came up just short, but it did set the stage for a big second half, and obviously eventually a Texas League championship.
No, absolutely, and you kind of just said it there beautifully as far as where we are, kind of checking the temperature, checking the morale to a certain degree as to where this team is getting into the official end of the first half of the season. I mean, obviously, it's not the most ideal of situations, even with how great of baseball we've been playing over the past week and change. Still 3 games under 500, still in that bottom half of the division in the Texas League. But again, it was a similar situation this time last year. I mean, you've had some great performances from guys who stuck around, guys who've just came in and have been absolutely lighting it up in both sides of the field. The energy, I think, has really been coming into fruition in so many different types of ways. I mean, I haven't played baseball. I've kept up with baseball throughout the years growing up, and especially being in this position. But I do like to think of some similarities to other sports, like a basketball, or like a football to a certain degree. Of obviously, there's no such thing as one play that's going to be 3 wins worth, 4 wins worth to get back over 500. It's been bit by bit. It's been chomping at the bit. It's been a matter of momentum, and that's quite frankly where we've been over this past week and change. I mean, offense has been absolutely amazing. The pitching side of things has definitely come into form in a couple of different ways. There have been some moments in between there where one side comes to play, other side not so much. Same thing, vice versa. But it's just a matter of still finding a groove, still finding a rhythm. Just even seeing from the outside looking in, me obviously covering the games with 102.9 FM, the morale is still very high. The morale, the energy still feels very high as far as where things are. Things could be a whole lot worse, but even still in these moments, there have been so many great moments and so many great performances that we've seen over these past couple of games that for me, and I sure hope that the rest of the community feels this way, there's nothing short of excitement still going into the end of the first half and especially going into the second half. That late season push, that was where it was as far as getting into the Texas League Championship. So for some people, I think there's kind of a sense of now as reigning Texas League champions that there will be some. I mean, there obviously are expectations. You have the target on your back and all those different types of things. But in my opinion, it shouldn't be to the tune of compromising still the type of culture and still what it is that got you there in the first place. You know what I mean? And I think that they're still finding that mix. Tim Borgro is an absolutely amazing guy, has absolutely been amazing for this team and for this position. So just still taking time, still lots of positives to come from this first half of the season.
And Alan, one thing I want to point out, as I mentioned right now, 7 games out of first place behind Midland, 6.5 behind Frisco. So in the next 2 series, all right, in the next 2 series, they have, if they can take, let's say 10 of those games, 10-4 over that stretch. If they can pick up 3 games on a team like Frisco, they will need some help against Midland, but they have another series against Frisco before the first half wraps up. So if they can get to that point before that Frisco series and then take 5 of 6 like they just did in this last series, then you're talking about you're seriously in business for that potential first half first seed, which obviously is huge, clinching a playoff spot in the first half and being able to wrap that up. So that I don't think is out of the question. There's still 4 series left to go before we end the first half, 24 games. That is enough time to make up that ground. It would be a miraculous stretch if they were able to make up 7 games in 24 matchups, but it's possible. I do want to talk real quickly about some of the players on this Sod Poodles team, because Davian De Los Santos, he was must-watch this season. He had been incredible. He just got called up to Reno in the past week, so no longer on the roster. So now I think all the attention, all the focus turns to Ivan Melendez, of course dubbed the nickname the Hispanic Titanic, one of the best nicknames in minor league baseball. Give me your thoughts on some of the guys on this Sod Poodles team, namely Melendez, that you feel like are most marquee guys. You got to go out to the ballpark and see this player.
Well, for sure. I mean, you said it perfectly. I mean, Davis De Los Santos. I mean, that should just be self-explanatory to a certain degree there. But also to that point, there have been a couple of those mainstays from the past year, from that championship run. I look at guys like Tim Tawa. I look at guys like A.J. Vukovic, especially. I mean, Ivan Melendez, again, one of the greatest nicknames I've ever heard in my entire life. And, you know, being able to even kind of see him a little bit, you know, being from the Austin area and catching a couple of UT games in the past, very much as advertised. It's safe to say, you know what I mean? So having a couple of those guys there have been great to see, but especially on the other sides of things, when it comes to their defense, especially, I mean, pitching has been pretty solid for them as well. I mean, we've known how guys like Yumin Lin have performed in the past, you know what I mean? We've seen guys like the Conor Grammases of the world in the past, you know, some amazing guys who've been able to, again, still kind of get into the culture, still kind of get into the swing of things, no pun intended, of being in this particular type position, especially in this perspective as being reigning champions of the Texas League. You need every bit of those newcomers coming into the equation just as much as you need that veteran leadership, those guys that have been here in the past. Those are just some of those intangibles to a certain degree of separating good from great and great from championship caliber teams. So still plenty of time, and I'm still incredibly high on the guys that we still have, the guys that will be called up. We've even had some guys, you know, with different injury assignments and different things of that nature. It just all comes in for a great melting pot and a great team that is well worth the price of admission. I mean, the food has been absolutely amazing. We've spoken to some amazing people who've been working there with Hodgetown for these past couple of years now. So, I mean, the team is obviously amazing. The team is still filled with a multitude of highlights and amazing plays left to still be seen over these next couple of weeks and months. But the atmosphere being out there as well. If you haven't been out there to a game at Hodgetown, it is definitely, again, worth the price of admission. It just darn near through the entire week, but obviously now with summer and kids getting out of school, you can make a whole week out of going into Hodgetown. Like, fun events, great food, great baseball. It truly is an amazing part of the town, an amazing part of what we've been building here over these past couple of years.
Well, it's not going to be easy going up against Arkansas this week. The Arkansas Travelers, they are right now at the top of the Texas League North standings, so that's not going to be easy going on the road for Amarillo. But after that, next week is when they finally return home, next Tuesday to face Tulsa, and that could be a big series for them. That could make or break whether or not they can make any sort of comeback in this first half. And as we mentioned, it is officially going to be all in on Sod Poodles season in just the next couple of weeks. So by the time they return home, they'll be the top show in town, almost the only show in town in a lot of regards. So Alan, thank you so much for taking the time to stop by. We appreciate it. Once again, check Alan out, 102.9 The Sports Star, 60-minute drill tomorrow, 4 o'clock. Alan, thanks so much for stopping by. We appreciate it.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. And if I may say really quick, the biggest, most sincere bits of gratitude, all those who've served in the armed forces. I mean, David Lovejoy, you guys may have seen earlier this morning with the chat. He had served. Amazing people from around town. Just do want to say from the bottom of my heart, wish everyone a safe Memorial Day. And again, just thank you to all those who have served over the years.
Absolutely, Alan. Thanks so much. We'll be right back with more Sports Drive after the break.